Thank you very much for your introduction. Well, I would like to introduce what we do at Vitrocell. With view to the appliances we make are available. So aerosols and gases and gas mixtures can be exposed to the test substance, and then afterwards the research groups can see what effect this aerosol on human cells had. And we are very strong in the development of such systems and the later production and installation and putting into service. This is what we take care of. Vitrocell, we are pioneers, so to speak, compared to the preceding speakers. We are a bit older than the others. We have been in existence for more than 20 years. It was set up by an individual person. Now they have more than 25 employees selling our appliances worldwide, all over the globe. Well, the market share in Europe and US is 40% respectively, Asia 20%. We put 5 to 8 new products on the market every year. Normally, upon customer request, customers have a question for which or a problem for which we try to find and develop a new solution. Or he wants a test substance, an aerosol, a powder he wants to test, and we help him with dispersing it. Well, our customers are in environmental research, in the electrical cigarettes industry, tobacco industry, and in vitro labs, in vitro and pharmaceutical development, environmental research, chemical industry, testing their substances, supervisory authorities, research groups. There are more and more publications including such appliances. So the number is gradually growing, and we can say that we are market leader in this area. With a view to in vitro research, with a view to inhalation, well, they normally have the submerged exposition, which we have a solution, and you then put that on cells. And the submersive exposition at Vitrocell, we also have an air-liquid interface, as the situation is in a lung. Lungs have a direct exchange with an aerosol, and we try to simulate this in our appliances. We are closer to reality, we think, when we deal with lung cells. The aerosol doesn't change, and we also have the dosimetry possibility, where we then can establish a relationship of doses effect. We've cultivated on cell inserts, and it works as follows. We have the cell system, which is cultivated from, they have a 5 on a medium from below, and from above you have monocultures or more complex cell systems, and 3D, 4D, 2D, and depending on what you can map. And these inserts here are included in our systems, and they are exposed to testing substances by in vitro, and this was mentioned by the preceding speakers already. They made the main statements in favor of it, why it's so important. Our application areas are listed here in detail. We do a lot for environmental research, pharmaceutical development, tobacco and e-cigarettes testing. These are areas where a lot of research is done. Nanomaterials, bacterial and viral research, corona, for example, which leads to this area growing very quickly. and cosmetics industry as well. At Vitrocell, we have 3 exposure models on systems, the flow method, the other the single droplets sedimentation, and we also have a system for dry powder, which I would like to introduce. Well, we have got continuous flow, the lung cell cultures. We then expose them to permanent aerosol flow, and that leads to controlled test environment. We can heat the modules to 37 degrees, depending on how you want to regulate it. We have an aerosol inlet by which the aerosol is flown in, and you have an exchange from the top, and you have the nutritional medium on the bottom. These modules can be put up in the lab, and you can also do it one on top of the other, kind of rack. So you have the through flow can be regulated. And this is an example of a relative simple setup where a lot must be done manually, where you also have to regulate a lot manually and can prefix it. This is a system with a housing and a controlled environment. And 37 degrees, you have more constant framework conditions from individual modules where we start up to a multi-module system with, for example, here 4 positions. Here down on the right-hand side, we have 56. Through flow can be is variable. We have fully automated kind of stations where very complex aerosols can be taken from stores. And we have automated stations where they are applied, and the cells are exposed to such aerosols for an hour or 4 hours, up to 24 hours, where the cell culture is exposed constantly to the aerosol. And then I have the biological evaluation, dosimetry, chemical, biological analysis of the system. Besides the single flow, we have the drop system, which is more easily handleable. And from the top, I have the kind of the inhalator, and I have different inserts which I can cover by them, and I have several substances which can be atomized, or if I have very little material, I can take the max variation here on the right-hand side and can atomize them in single chambers. This is a video which shows you how that an experiment works. I have my cell culture pipetting the solution, and here you have the aerosol, which is atomized and is then applied to the cell surface. You take out this insert with the cell culture again, and then it can be examined under lab conditions. Well, this is a variation of a kind of individual experiment, the single event when the aerosol is generated and sedimented. But in contrast to the previous system, where I have the continuous exposure, this is a one-off event where you can expose the substance after a certain time period again and again. Further development in this area, what we've got here, is the integration of a lung-on-chip system in the cloud. This was a research project together with Alveolix, where we have the lung-on-chip system together with the QCM. This is the small golden element next to the chip with the information on the deposited mass per square inch or any kind of unit. And they have integrated it in the cloud. This chip can be exposed to the aerosol at the air interface and the air gas interface, and the cell culture and deposited mass can also be registered. This is a detail here in the medium row. We have this exposure on the left-hand side and right-hand side. I have the nutritional medium, which supports the cells. And here we have the aerosol, which is applied to the cell culture. Besides the two mentioned, we also have dry powders, and there we have established a new system. Also for pharmaceutical purposes, dry powder sedimentation, for example, for environmental aspects, Sahara dust, for example, or dust from the moon, which in the system can be directly changed into an aerosol and is applied to the cell culture. We have the powder X appliance, the 12 or 24 well format. As you can see here, right in the middle, we have the aerosol and the powder, which is inserted included in the appliance. The aerosol cloud is generated in analogy to the cloud version. Instead of aerosol, it's a dried powder. Then you can investigate and examine the cell cultures. What kind of effects can be observed on cell cultures? Just hold on, bear with me. My screen was black. No, back again. What is quite important after the cell, the application of the aerosols on the cell, what kind of mass or quantity was applied, and then the biologist can see what was the doses effect relationship, the dosimetry. Here it's possible you can use so-called microquartz scales that can be integrated with this little metal ring, and depending on the mass that can be observed here, and then you can measure it and can draw your conclusions. We can include microscopic carriers for an analysis, where normally I have the cell culture. I can collect the probe. On the right-hand side, you can see the normal or the big microscopic magnification. Or photometers can be inserted that give information. In the system, we have a lot of positions, and I have kind of watering down from one to the row to the next. Our core components is what makes us really strong at Vitrocell. Well, we always find and come up with an individual solution for every customer who approaches us with a special question or issue. We have our own software team in construction and development. So we try to implement everything according to our customers' wishes. We have a worldwide global a service team, which also can be on the spot with our customer and can give support. And we also have an application lab where a lot of our appliances and devices are tested and characterized, where we see what else can we do by means of our machines. And we have active process management according to ISO, as certified according to ISO standards. Well, if somebody would like to start working for us or is interested in such fields of research at Vitrocell, it's good if you have a biological background or technical background. A lot of practical understanding and stamina is required and has proven its value. Also, frustration tolerance, because the work with cell cultures and aerosols can take very long until everything works and every aerosol is generated in the way we want it. But on the other hand, we have a very broad field of application and a lot of interdisciplinary work, aerosol physics to classical mechanical engineering to develop them, how the machines are developed, up to biological aspects. And if you're interested in this, well, we, in cooperation with the research lab, we can also take care of bachelor and master theses, and we are well networked with our customers, and they're also looking for people in working in their labs or at our research partners. They are very much interested in master theses or PhDs. So I would like to say thank you. Hope I respected the time frame. And of course, I'm available for questions. Lovely. Thank you, Christoph. It's good to see that we have got a company which has been in existence for a longer period of time. So there's a good mixture of different companies. We are running out of time, I'm afraid, but I would like to ask you one question. And those who have questions they would like to address to you can meet you in breakout room 3. Can your systems also be used for ISO 18562? Development of medicinal products, can it be used for this purpose as well? It depends, I should say, who's involved from the biological side. So we, in person, only make the appliances available. Apparatuses for medical applications, well, it's still a kind of fundamental research area. I know of the cloud with the AI X12. There are pharmaceutical companies doing testing with them. I know whether this has to do with official approval. Well, it's still in its teething stage. In principle, it's possible to do the testing, for example, for tobacco industry. I know that they use this for the approval studies, but in the pharmaceutical industry, well, I must admit, I don't know.